Welcome everyone to People on Dating. I'm your host, Will Morales, and for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, this podcast is about the ups and downs of dating and how to navigate through it. Today, my guest is Suzannah Weiss. Suzannah is a AASECT-certified sex educator, psychotherapist, sex therapist, and the author of Eve's Blessings. And definitely we'll have more bio of her in the show notes. But Suzannah, thank you so much for being on People on Dating. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much for being on People on Dating. So tell us a little bit about yourself. What was your journey like to get here to today? Today's topic is a good one. It's about sexual empowerment. But what was your journey like to get here to today? What was that? What was Susanna's that moment that you said, "Hey, this is what I want to do"?
There were many moments, but I suppose when I was really young, actually, I struggled a lot with body image and disordered eating. And it was around the time I started college, I had a few sexual awakenings that showed me my body could be for me and not just for male pleasure. And
Hmm.
um, after that, I studied gender and sexuality, and I used many different modalities myself to learn how to just sexually empower myself as a sex and relationship writer.
Hmm.
Um, I had many opportunities to do things like clothing optional resorts, sex parties, and learned basically until I was 25, I'd never had an orgasm with a partner. And so I also used many methods to overcome that I now teach people.
Hmm.
And my books are about experiences like those and other ones I had dealing with chronic illness, chronic Lyme disease, and related illnesses, and other women who I know who have dealt with chronic illness, chronic pain, and quote unquote normal female issues like menstrual pain and pain during sex that aren't actually normal. So that's what this book is about, just denormalizing those things and normalizing pleasure.
Hmm.
And yeah, and I wanted to work more with people, so I got my psychotherapy degree and am now practicing as an associate marriage, and family therapist and sex therapist.
All right, that's some journey. So, today in modern dating, as we call it, it seems that more and more women are sexually liberated. They want to, whether they're going on a girls' trip or they're having, they meet someone at a bar. And again, this is what I'm reading. This is what I'm seeing on podcasts. In your opinion, and maybe your friends or just maybe any study that you have done, have women become more sexually liberated, more freedom for them, where they could just, I hate to say go from guy to guy because that sounds, I don't want to go there. But do you find more and more women being sexually liberated, like they control their own body, they want to, who they want to bang, who they want to do? Um, yeah, go ahead. I can see you smiling, so go ahead.
Yeah, definitely. Women are more open talking about sex than they were, say, a decade ago.
Yeah.
I find often if I want to talk to friends or even just acquaintances about things like sex toys, or if I tell them my profession, they're always very interested and want to ask me questions. I do think sex is seen as more something that is for the woman than it used to be.
Mhm.
I also think there are still problems with hookup culture, with sex being seen as something that's primarily for men, and with women not having as much of a voice. Particularly in dating, I've just noticed a lot of women having trouble in dating and dealing with a lot of men who just aren't really respecting their wishes. I think there's still a huge issue with consent and just with
Mhm.
men really realizing that women are important and they're not just here to hook up with and dump. So I
Yeah.
think both. I think yes and no.
Okay. Yeah, no, because I kind of agree with you there. I think women have, in my opinion, have more to offer than just their bodies. But it seems, again, what I'm seeing online and what I'm reading is that women are still choosy. They're choosing the partner that they want, whether it's a F-boy or someone that they might have known in their past or an ex-boyfriend, and sometimes they go back to them. Are you seeing that too, where depend where the nice guy is losing out to the F boy and to the past ex? This is what I'm seeing and what I'm reading, Susanna. So please, if you have anything to elaborate, please do.
There is a narrative that women don't like nice guys. I mean, I've heard a lot of men use that against women, like saying, "Oh, you're just, you're just turning me down because I'm a nice guy," when often that guy is not actually so nice. Often, if he's saying that, he has an entitlement complex. Like,
I've
but
heard that too. Yeah.
to extent though, I think there is some quote unquote nice guys are being performative. I think that's what women dislike when the man is like making all the gestures to like, take you out to dinner, call you and whatnot, but really he's thinking like I'm just trying to get laid. Um,
Mm.
or like he's thinking, this is how a man's supposed to act, but he's not being genuine. I don't think women have any issue with genuinely nice guys. I think it's more with that.
Oh, it's funny that you say that because I remember reading that, and some women feel that these nice guys are not themselves. They're trying, like you said, they're trying to be someone that they're not, and instead of showing their true colors, if that makes sense. Um, and the end goal is for a man to get laid and all that, but also for some men, it's basically to have a partner, to have a relationship. Is that Are relationships dying out though? Because it seems like it's becoming more and more transactional. What I'm seeing from the men, what I'm reading about, what I'm seeing on podcasts, the same thing with women. It's like they both got to offer something to each other. Women might want some money, guys want obviously to get sex. Are we seeing that more and more, and maybe in your practice or in your everyday journey, that relationships are becoming transactional now?
Gosh, I hope not. I really think with women becoming more sexually empowered and sex being something that's to please the woman, that we
Sure.
don't need that anymore. Because then both people will want sex equally if the sex is pleasurable for both people. So, I mean, some people, I support sex workers, I support sugar babies, like I support those types of arrangements, but I think more and more like that's becoming antiquated as the norm
Mm.
because sex is something women and men both want and non-binary people, and so is love. So I think we should
Right.
just all be open to both sides of ourselves, that most of us want both.
So how do we get onto the same page then? When it comes to a man and a woman wanting a relationship and not just, listen, if a man has a one night stand, a woman has to each his own. I don't judge, but like you were saying about sex workers and things like that, where a man might just see the sex worker as just a sexual object. How do we bring that back to, maybe the woman's doing it because she needs the money. It's hard to get a job, so this is pretty much an alternative for her. Doesn't mean she's sleeping with everybody in the damn club. Can we bring back love and some type of commitment, or is this generation, especially the younger gen, what is this, Gen Z? Is it more about again just transactions, smash and dash? Did that make sense at all? It seems like I was all over the place.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think there's actually studies showing younger generations are having less sex, millennials and Gen Zers, because we're not getting into relationships. So anyone who
Mm.
thinks they're like, avoiding relationships in favor of casual sex so they have more sex, they might actually be having less sex. Um,
I read
I
that too. Yeah.
I think the way out of that is people being really honest about what they want on
Mm.
their dating profiles, when they meet people on first dates. And I think women need to be really clear about what they want. In straight relationships, we're kind of taught that men call the shots, but I think if we all take a stand, I think men will listen.
Mm.
Women just have to be really firm. And yeah, it's strange. I don't think most people are looking for empty, meaningless connections, maybe once in a while, but I think we need to show emotional vulnerability and open our hearts and be honest. And we'll find most people want some kind of emotional connection, even if it's a fleeting one.
wow, that is interesting. I never looked at it that way where, the connection, when I was younger, that was there. As I gotten older, I see it's gotten away from that. It's what you can do for me, what I can do for you. I don't, and when you meet someone, now it's instead of exchanging a phone number, now we're exchanging Instagram or Facebook profiles. Is that because maybe it's a trust issue? Hey, I don't know you this well, or I don't know you at all, so let me just give you my Instagram or my Facebook account. Is that what's happening now? And I'm
You
getting it, and I'm an older man, and I'm getting here's my Facebook profile. Here's my Instagram account. Oh, and in my mind, I'm like, what happened to the phone number? Oh, I don't know you that well. Okay. So, go ahead, Susanna. Sorry, I went off on a tangent there.
I think there are two reasons. One is some people want followers. I think they're like dating apps have to meet people, have to get followers. And I think some of it is part of a screening process to see more photos of the person,
Yeah.
get to know their life a little bit better. It sort of is a gradual process from the dating app to Instagram to texting to calling to FaceTiming. It is a lot of steps. I personally
I was
also
going to say that's a lot of work.
I too prefer to just meet up. I think it can make people feel really judged to feel like I have to see a bunch of photos of you before I can go out with you. Um, I I've known, for instance, I had a roommate who before she went out with a guy, he said, "Let's just FaceTime first. I need to make sure that you are beautiful."
Oh,
Another
geez.
guy did the same thing to me. He was like, "I only get out of bed if the glutes are worth it. Can I see a photo of your ass?" Like, this is
Whoa, Jesus
awful. Like
Christ.
that just shuts a woman down to feel judged like that. Maybe men are better with it, but yeah, it's awful. We need to stop being that superficial.
Wow. I'm telling you, and we're talking with Suzannah Weiss, and today's topic is sexual empowerment. But I think that those type of guys, especially these younger guys, are just taking it to another level where they think it could just smash and dash. I have a friend of mine, she's in her mid-20s. And I remember she went out on the first date with the guy. She had a great time. And then when he set a second date up, he wanted her to go to his house. And I remember she was telling me that. I'm like, oh my God, this guy's moving too fast. Again, when I was younger, it was a build up. It was a courtship. Is that done with courting a woman? Is that even a thing now?
Yeah, I think people are missing courtship. I think it's going to make a comeback soon because I think it used to be seen as outdated. Like, why can't women pay half the bill? Then it feels transactional um, but I think some of those practices just are respectful. Like,
Hmm.
I don't know, asking somebody out, just opening the doors even. I think paying is actually a really nice thing to do. Some people think that it's sexist, but I think it's just a way to show appreciation a lot of the time. I think it's going to make a comeback because I think a lot of women are really sick of men doing no effort.
No, and I've heard that too. I'm one of those guys that if I'm asking a woman out, I'm paying. I'm not asking for 50-50. I'm not asking what you're going to bring to the table. I really, in my opinion, and this is me, I don't give a shit what you bring to the table. I like you. There's something about you that I like. There's something about you that's turning me on. That's all. Yes, I want to get to know you from A to Z, but I'm not going to ask you what you bring to the table. To me, that's bullshit. When a guy asks that to a girl, and I remember I was telling my friend that she's young, if a guy ever asks you that, you walk out that door. Because to me, that's bullshit. Again, I'm old school, so maybe that's how I know that's how I think. So Susanna, talk more about like your journey again, to become, I guess you could say, empowered. But what was that switch that turned you on though, or the old switch that turned you off? What was it that you had to change about yourself to make you, I guess, feel more empowered, if that makes sense?
Well, I think it was actually, I was very lucky. My first sexual experience when I was about 18 was with an older man who
Hmm.
like just focused on pleasing me and there was no pressure to do anything for him. I think that was the first thing. And he also asked my consent. And I actually feel bad for women who had to deal with immature teenage boys who were pushy or like made it about them. I think that was the moment when I was like, well, I was taught sex meant like a woman getting used. I like that's
Hmm.
not the only narrative, but that was a common narrative for me growing up is like men want to take advantage of women.
Right.
Um, and so I think that was like a big moment. And then another big moment was when I was 25 and had my first orgasm with a partner. And when like I realized just the value in communicating what I needed and just letting my partner know how to touch me. And
Hmm.
like that is something that we're not taught to do. And
Yeah.
um and that's very empowering to learn how to speak up for yourself and not feeling ashamed of it.
I wanted to ask you a question about that. When you were 18, right, you had an older gentleman. If you don't mind, what was it that he did different from, let's say, the 25-year-old or any other guy that whether you were with or your friends with? Was he more loving to you? Or did he touch you in certain places that you wanted when you were 18? Obviously, at 25, you can act for what you want because you know what you want. You're getting to know your body. But what was the difference between 18 and 25? It was just getting the experience, or obviously did it come with the men knowing what to do? Did I make sense at all? Oop, did you freeze? Oh, I lost you for a second. Did you hear me?
What was it? You said what was it between 18 and 25? That's the last
Yeah.
thing I heard.
Uh, when you were 18 to 25, you said that you was with a gentleman when you were 18 and he was made sure that he pleased you. What was the difference between the 18 and 25-year-old Suzannah? Suzannah at 25, she can ask for what she want, but you're 18, so you're still young. What did he do different than maybe some other guys didn't do to some other girl, if that makes sense? Like what was his technique to make sure that you were okay, you were comfortable, and you enjoyed yourself?
It was the way that he communicated, I think. Like
Hmm.
we had a long conversation beforehand about sex, and he said his mom was a gynecologist, so it was funny. He was kind of educating me, and he asked like a very affirmative question. He asked, "Do you want me to go down on you?" Not like, "Can I?" but "Do you want me to?"
Right.
And it was like very comforting just that I got to choose as opposed
Okay.
to someone telling me what to do.
And that was at 18.
Yeah.
And then at 25, now you're a little older, and you said you had your first orgasm. What was different this time around?
Having a partner who really cared about my pleasure, wanted to put in the effort, and
Oh,
like,
okay.
who just really I felt cared about by him. And also learning more about my body, learning that it's okay to speak up for what I wanted, learning that it's like I listened to a course. I took a course by the sex therapist Vanessa Marine where she talked
Mhm.
about how like men often take charge in the bedroom. They move into the position they need. They like make sure that they finish and that women aren't taught to do the same. And like we should get angry about this and make sure that we do the same things. And yeah, I think it was just learning ideas, feminist ideas about sex. And and there were also physical things. I was on Prozac for a long time, which interferes with sexual response, and people don't talk about that. So I didn't even know for a while that that was happening.
Oh, wow. Okay. Of pleasing a woman and not making it all about themselves.
Well, that's easy. Just ask her what she wants. So
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you. Are men afraid to ask?
a lot of men are afraid to ask because they think it reflects poorly on them if they don't already know. But I think, there are ways to ask that are very non-threatening. Like, is there anything I can do to make it better? Or
Hmm.
how does this type of touch feel compared to this? Or, what do you like in the bedroom? The best sex you've had, what made it the best? That's another good question to ask.
Mm.
And then, Even after sex, people are nervous to get feedback, so you can always phrase it as, what can I do to make it better? As opposed to like, did I do anything wrong?
Ah, okay. It's just how you phrase it. Well, first of all, Susanna, I want to thank you so much for being on People on Dating. I could talk to you probably for another hour or two. Talk more about your book and more about your practice and anything else you want to promote. So please feel free.
Yes, so I'm offering psychotherapy and sex therapy in the state of California, as well as sex and love coaching anywhere in the world. So please look at my website, suzannahweiss.com. And looking forward to connecting. And please order this book on Amazon, Eve's Blessing, Uncovering the Lost Pleasure Behind Female Pain.
No, I love it. I love it. Say that website one more time.
Website,
Yeah.
suzannahweiss.com.
All right.
Sannahweiss.
Yeah, I'll definitely put that on the show notes. Well, first of all, Susanna, again, thank you so much for being on People on Dating. This was a great topic. I definitely would love to have you back on. And again, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule.
Thank you so much.
All right, bye bye.